Greetings, colleagues. It's my pleasure to present to you today, and I'm so happy to be with you. I'm going to go ahead and share. The PowerPoint, and this will be available to you afterwards as well. Screen go here. Okay, I'm going to present today on artificial intelligence and libraries, an examination of the research. Why do we fear new and emerging technologies? According to this article, we tend to reject new technology when it substitutes for rather than augments our humanity. We tend to embrace new technology when it supports inclusion, purpose, challenge, meaning, and alignment with nature. And an illustration of this is this movie that was produced. It came out in 1957, starring Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. It was about a computer expert who tries to replace a TV network's research and reference librarians with his computer system. And happily for the librarians, it didn't work out very well. They found out that they couldn't replace humans with a computer, at least at that time. Emerging technology. And the emerging technology that everyone is talking about now is artificial intelligence. And we'll start by defining artificial intelligence and giving some background information on it. Artificial intelligence is a technology that enables computers and machines to simulate human learning, comprehension, problem solving, decision making, creativity, and autonomy. According to the online dictionary of LIS, AI includes mechanical and electronic devices and applications designed to closely mimic the human ability to learn, reason, and make decisions. Now, what about the history of AI? In 1950, Alan Turing, who, as I'm sure you know, is the father of modern digital computing, he developed the Colossus computer during World War II, which was able to decode the Enigma machine. In post-war, in 1950, he asked the question, can machines think? And he offered the Turing test, which is, can one determine if a response is human or computer? And this test is still used today. In 1956, John McCarthy coined the term artificial intelligence at a Dartmouth College conference. In 1967, Frank Rosenblatt built the Mark I perceptron, the first computer that learned through trial and error. In 1997, IBM's Deep Blue beat world chess champion Kasparov, and I remember the news reports on that. In 2011, IBM Watson beat Jeopardy champions. And in 2022, this is when we saw a rise in the large language models, or LLMs, such as ChatGPT, which has caused quite a bit of controversy in academia anyway. Now, there's another term that we should be familiar with, and that is generative AI. Generative AI, or Gen AI, is a technology that can create original text, images, video, and other content. And this illustration shows you, artificial intelligence came into being in the 1950s, then machine learning in the 1980s, deep learning in the 2010s, and in 2020s, generative AI, which, as we said, can generate original content. The Horizon Report is a report that's published each year by EDUCAUSE, and it predicts trends in teaching and learning. And this is important because, the trends in academia will have a ripple effect on the communities because, in academia, that's where you train your teachers and librarians, and then they go into the communities and spread what they have learned. So it's very important in learning what's important to the local communities to see what they're teaching in academia. And according to the Horizon Report, we're on the cusp of a paradigm shift in higher education. The incorporation of AI is going to change virtually all our standard practices in higher education. While AI introduces complex challenges, higher education stakeholders have the opportunity to develop ethical frameworks, policies, and practices to deploy those technologies in socially responsible ways. Now, the trends that they talked about were social trends. AI is changing the way we communicate. It may be some while before we've determined how AI is going to change us. For instance, we're just now beginning to understand how social media has changed the way we communicate. And it's resulted in shorter messages and a greater use of acronyms, for example. Technology trends. AI has the potential to reshape pedagogy and student learning. Economic trends. AI is increasingly impacting the economy and workforce. Government trends. AI is used for healthcare, logistics and transportation, and environment. Now, three big systems that it's impacting right now are education, healthcare, and legal. An AI classroom. The first private school in London began the first teacherless class in the UK in September 2024. It was a report on this. And it's somewhat misleading to say it's teacherless. A teacher is there in the class, but it has a different role. The traditional role is the teacher stands in front of the class and lectures. In this AI classroom, the student is immersed in their own computer program, and the teacher is there sort of in the back of the room and able to help or assist when needed. The students are on the computer platforms and they have virtual reality headsets. So it allows customization and immersive learning and individualized learning at their own pace. AI healthcare systems. Now, at present, they're not talking about a robotic doctor. What they're talking about are AI tools the healthcare professional uses. And it has resulted in more accurate diagnosis and treatment, and it saves time and money. The same thing with legal research tools. These are tools used by lawyers and paralegals to assist them. And it indicates that those lawyers and paralegals who use these tools, it results in more accurate and thorough performance, and it saves time and money. What about AI in libraries? AI can be used to automate tasks, analyze data, and improve user experience. And this is from this article by Tansy in the Digital Librarian. AI can help librarians with a variety of tasks, according to Tansy: AI-powered patron assistance, marketing and design tools, library programs and service tools, and collection development tools. So I wanted to do a study for this presentation and look at the LIS literature on libraries and AI and just see what has been written in the pattern of that. I found two previous studies on this topic, so I was able to compare my results with the results of these studies. The first one is Mannheimer et al., and the article is Responsible AI Practice in Libraries and Archives, a review of the literature, published in Information Technology and Libraries. The authors examined 89 AI projects implemented in library and archives from 2017 to 2023. The results were AI projects are most common in large academic libraries. AI most frequently used for metadata extraction, recommendations, and reference services. Only a third of the articles in the study discussed ethics and values related to AI. Now, this was published in 2024 as the next article by Concha, Centeno, and Alpha. And it's the use of artificial intelligence in libraries, a systematic review from 2019 to 2023. And this was published in the South African Journal of Libraries and Information Science. They examined 26 articles that they found that met their search parameters in the world of science. And it was on the use of AI in libraries. Their results were the English language were the most common in publication, and that was 88.5%. And the topics on the articles, libraries in general, 42%. But of those that identified specific libraries, academic libraries were the greatest, 27%, followed by medical and public, 11.5% each. Articles focused on machine learning, visual assistance, AI models, NLP, indexing, and generative AI. Now for this study, it's based on a couple of assumptions. Those are LIS databases used in the study are indexed accurately so that relevant articles are retrieved. And also the articles retrieved with key concept and appropriate limiters are representative of the body of LIS research in general. And here are the research questions. How many articles on libraries and AI were retrieved, and in what languages were they published? What's the publication pattern over time? What types of libraries were the focus of the articles? How many articles included information on ethics or the ethical use of AI? And what are some research findings of the articles? The methodology. I use a search strategy, artificial intelligence or AI in the title field, and library or libraries in the keyword field. I like using a strategy like this because it really focuses in on articles that are pertinent for the study. I was able to search in 3 LIS databases, the main 3 databases that are in the University of Southern Mississippi Library, and luckily they're all on the same platform, the EBSCOhost, so I was able to search them at one time. Library and Information Science Source, Library Information Science and Technology Abstracts, Information Science and Technology Abstracts. I limited the results to peer-reviewed full-text articles published in academic journals because I wanted scholarly articles. Okay, for the first question, how many articles on libraries and AI were retrieved and in what languages were they published? With the duplicates removed, 577 articles on this topic were retrieved. 483 were in English, 84%, 32 in Italian, 21 Romanian, 14 German, 13 Arabic, and the rest were various languages. What is the publication pattern over time? Of the 577 articles retrieved, 560 or 97% were published in the past 10 years. 502 or 87% in the past 5 years, and 355 or 62% since 2023. Okay, here is the publication pattern by decade. And you can see the pattern. There was only 1 that I retrieved from the 1980s, 6 from the 1990s, 5 from the 2000s, 31 in the 2010s, and in this decade, 534. I always like to see what is the earliest article retrieved in a study if I'm looking at the pattern over time. And the earliest in the 1980s was The Organization and Use of Information, Contributions of Information Science, Computational Linguistics, and Artificial Intelligence by Donald E. Walker, published in JASIS. And another one, the next oldest one in the 90s were Expertise, Text Complexity, and Artificial Intelligence, a Conceptual Framework by Michael Buckland and Doris Florian, also published in JASIS. What types of libraries were the focus of the articles? And of the articles that were focused on a specific library, academic libraries were by far the most at 243, then public at 14, school 12, law 7, and medical 6. How many articles included information on ethics or the ethical use of AI? 392 of the 577 articles mentioned or discussed ethics, and that's 68%, or the ethical use of AI. What are some research findings? I found a couple of articles that were of particular interest to me, and I hope they're of interest to you. I find them useful. One is by Chetri, published in 2023, and she used a business model analyzing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of AI in libraries. I thought this was an innovative and useful approach to doing research. She identified the strengths as efficient information retrieval and management, automation of routine tasks, enhance user experience and personalization, improve decision-making via data analysis. Weaknesses are ethical considerations and biases, lack of human touch and personalized assistance. I think that means human personalized assistance, technical challenges and limitations, and job displacement concerns. And I'd just like to mention that one fear we have about new technology is, and I can remember this was a big fear when computers first came into common use. People were afraid computers were going to displace humans. And perhaps it did, but in our field, librarianship, there was fear that computers would replace librarians. And what we found was it made us even more needed in our jobs because of such expanded resources of information. You have to have someone to filter that for the public. Opportunities for AI in libraries, advanced search capabilities, expanded digital collection and accessibility, support for diverse user needs and preferences, and collaboration and knowledge sharing among libraries. Threats or challenges include privacy and security risks, dependence on technology versus system failures, Another article I found useful and interesting was one by Freeman et al., AI in Libraries. And this was published in Georgia Library Quarterly. It was a qualitative study, and they sought input from Georgia librarians on how they used AI. And there was a school librarian who reported that he uses Magic School AI and Humi to interview famous historical figures virtually. Academic librarian uses ChatGPT for cataloging content notes and also tables of contents, producing tables of contents. Academic and public librarians use role-playing games, GPT 3.5, Microsoft Copilot, Stable Diffusion to create adventure content that's also educational. So the conclusions of the study was most articles, 84%, were published in English, which supports previous findings of the other studies. Significant recent increase in research on libraries and AI, 87% in the past 5 years, 87% growth, indicates it's an emerging research front. Articles focused on academic libraries, primarily, then public, school, law, and medical libraries. I think it's right on emerging fronts to focus on academia because, as I said, the things that are taught in academia, these will filter out through our communities as teachers and librarians are educated on emerging technologies. The majority of articles, 70%, included information on ethics or ethical issues related to AI. There's a couple of applications that I find particularly useful. Grammarly.com is one that I require my students to use. There's a free version that I require them to use. It really improves writing. It offers suggestion to correct grammar, punctuation, spelling, all that sort of Grammarly things. And I, as a scholar, I subscribe to the subscription one because it's even more helpful, especially for scholars. And there's an option to have it checked for scholarly writing, which is more objective than regular informal writing. And there's something called Perplexity AI, and I would really recommend trying this. It's a conversational AI, and it's a search engine tool, and it's really interesting and really good and innovative. So those two are ones I recommend. Thank you for your attention. This presentation, as well as other presentations, will be available after the conference. I'll post them on SlideShare, and also I post my presentations on my LinkedIn account, and both are under DRTWELSH. And I will also provide them to the conference organizers. So thank you, and have a wonderful conference.